from the DC area. Her name is Kramer, and she's going to be starting out our live stream with a few special performances. So, before we get our panel started, we want you to chill with us, we want you to vibe with us as we transition into our panel. But beforehand, we have this amazing performer, Kramer, that's going to be coming up. Come on up, Kramer. Clap it up for Kramer, y'all. Excellent. Let's go. Daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. 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 He's the kind of guy that'll say, hey, baby, let's get away. Let's go someplace where I don't care. He's the kind of guy that'll say everything and trust your heart. All of your love till death do you part. I wanna be what he wants when he wants it and wherever he needs it. And when he's lonesome and feeling love starved, I'll be there to feed it. Loving him a little bit more each day. It turns me right on when I hear him say, hey baby, let's get away. Let's go someplace far. Baby, can we? Where I don't care. Hey baby, let's get away. Let's go someplace far. Baby, can we? Where I don't care. I wanna be what he wants when he wants it and whatever he needs it. And when he's lonesome and feeling lost off, I'll be there to feed him. I'm loving him a little bit more each day. Turns me right on when I hear him say, daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. 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 Look at my mind floating away. Thank you. Hello, 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 hello. How are you all feeling tonight? Good? You feeling good? My name is Kramer. I'm from the DC area. I'm originally from PG County. I'm here to sing a few songs for you all. Some you might know, some you might not.
How many people are familiar with Otis Redding? Yes, yes, yes. This is a song called Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, then I'll watch them roll away again. I'm gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay, 'cause I got nothing to live for. Nothing's gonna come my way. I'm gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I'm gonna sit on the dock of the bay, wasting time, wasting time, wasting time. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Well, let me get a poll of the room. Has anybody ever been in love before? Anyone? No one has been in love before. Raise your. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this song, this next song I wrote when I was in love, felt like I was in love at the wrong time. So I named the song Ripe. And if you're a lyrics person, if you like words, then you might catch some of the fruit and vegetable metaphors throughout. So keep an ear out. This song is called Ripe. Spice, fruits, and palm trees, we cut the season. The sun's doing right by you, and your appetite's got you eating right. To me, love means soft skin, every layer pubic, yeah. I should slow my heart down, we're in this brown paper bag. Maybe we should wait till we're ripe, till we got sweet water, both of us still loving like we ain't bruised, still loving like we're alright, yeah, we still love. I said you want red lights and you sit back and you drive real slow with your eyes real low, yeah. Makes me smile just to see that you have real fun when your walls real low, like lo-fi and late night. We freestyle just to speak up. I don't understand new love, but you're comfortable with that. Maybe we should wait till we're ripe, till we got sweet water, both of us still loving like we ain't bruised, both of us. I wanna be your summer, I'd rather be your springtime, yeah. Get your waters overflowing, I wanna be water. I wanna be your summer, I'd rather be your springtime, yeah. Get your waters overflowing, I wanna be water. But maybe we should wait till we're ripe, till we get sweet. Both of us still loving like we ain't bruised. Both of us still. Ooh, maybe we should wait until we got sweet water. Both of us still loving like we ain't bruised. Both of us. Thank you very much. All right. So nobody in here has ever been in love. Okay, okay. Has anyone in here ever felt unappreciated or underappreciated, or like someone wasn't taking you for the gym that you are? Yeah? Okay. Well, everyone here is appreciated and has never been in love. Okay, this is the new crowd. This song is called New Arrivals, and I was going through a period where I was feeling like, I was taken for granted. And so I wrote a song about it. I'm pretty non-confrontational. And as an artist, I kind of just wrote about it in a song. This song is called New Arrivals. You don't try to keep me, but you're so aware of everybody else out there. Checking on me, but you don't even pick up to say sorry when it's over. So how can I know that you want me to stay when you act this way? You don't treat me like I'm rare or extraordinary. You don't check the time that we're meeting and every second that we spend. I can hear you counting like you don't want me anymore. You don't cherish me like before. But how can I know that you want me to stay when you act this way? But new arrivals are on the rise. Yeah. New arrivals are on the horizon. New arrivals are on the horizon. Yeah. New arrivals are on her. Oh, yeah. Smithsonian, can I tell y'all a story real quick? Can I share a story with you? It goes. New arrivals are on the horizon, yeah. And they're coming my way, oh yeah. If there's anything I've learned, it's that pain don't last always, no. I swam in the ocean, I went down underwater, and everything that I saw, I knew I was a part of. So I'm not quick to hold things over you. Like, I ain't got my things I'm handling too. Now, you, me, I'm you. I'll let you work this out, and I'll call you when it's safer. No, I'm taking. Look what you made me. You got me looking crazy over you. Got me pacing rooms, oh, so upset and heated. Got me looking crazy over you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So this next song is by Nora Jones, and it's a very special one to me. I was taught this song by a very special person. I waited till I saw the sun. Don't know why I didn't come. Left you by the house of fun. Don't know why I didn't come. I don't know why I didn't come. When I saw the break of day, wish that I could fly away. Instead, I'm kneeling in the sand, catching teardrops in my hand. My heart is drenched in wine, but you be on my mind forever. Out across the endless sea, I would die in ecstasy. Instead, I'll be a bag of bones, driving down the road alone. Something's gotta make you run. Don't know why I didn't come. Left you by the house of fun. Don't know why I didn't come. Don't know why I didn't come. I don't know why I didn't come. Thank you very much. If you're just entering, my name is Kramer. Thank you for having me here at the Smithsonian Arts and Industries Building. This is my last song. It's been lovely performing for you all. This song is called Bet I Made. stars, but it wouldn't get me very far away, yeah, 'cause all my problems, they follow me. I flew to the moon, but it wasn't far enough away from you, yeah, 'cause all my problems, they follow me. Every night I close my eyes and all my troubles fade. Every morning when I rise, I'm just sleeping in this bed I made. One million times inside of my head. Oh, well, I have justified it, baby, but all my problems, they follow me. Oh, and I discovered a way, oh, to cleverly avoid blame, but all my problems, they follow me. You know that every night I close my eyes and all my troubles fade. Every morning when I rise, I'm just sleeping in this bed I made. Oh, I can't hide from the pain. Should've faced these demons as they came. Oh, and what I wouldn't trade, oh, to make some room in this bed I made. And know that every night I close my eyes and all my troubles fade. Every morning when I rise, I'm just sleeping in this bed. I'm just sleeping in this bed. I'm just sleeping in this bed I made. Thank you all so much. My name is Kramer. I'm going to toss it over to Team AIB. Thank you all.
Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Mama, please don't worry about me. 'Cause I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Back and forth with the bullshit. I know I said it before, I don't mean it. It's been a while since I had your attention, so it might hurt to hit it. Dreams we had don't ever fall away. We can't leave them if you stay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Arts and Industries Building. My name is Joni, and I'm a member of the advancement team at the Futures Exhibition. We're so excited to welcome all of you for the future of our 9 to 5. It's going to be a great panel, and we'll be getting started in just a couple of minutes. But before we do, I just wanted to take a moment to thank our amazing sponsors at Accenture. We so appreciate your thought leadership and support ahead of today's program, and we couldn't have done it without you. I'd also like to take a moment to introduce Catherine Cruz, who will be taking the stage in just a few seconds. She is the wonderful managing director of Accenture Talent and Organization. She has more than 20 years of experience helping companies transform their workforce and talent pools to meet today's needs and those of the future. She also leads the Greater Washington Apprenticeship Network and is passionate about creating new job opportunities for a more diverse group of candidates. So please join me in welcoming Catherine, and we'll get started in just a few moments. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. So excited to be here today. So as I was introduced, Catherine Cruz, part of Accenture's talent organization practice, and that means that I help with defining future work for our clients. We're really excited to be here today. I'm based in DC. I love our community, and I'm so excited to be here. Accenture is really thrilled with its continued partnership with the Smithsonian, including this Futures exhibit. For those who don't know Accenture, we are a global organization. We help clients globally across all industries using technology and human creativity to really solve its greatest challenges. Right now, we have over 700,000 employees with more than 10,000 in the DC area. So that's a crazy number, but it's really exciting. And today, we're going to spend this time talking about the workforce and really how the workforce is evolving due to so many different factors, whether that's the pandemic, the digital disruption. We have 4 generations right now in our workforce with so many different expectations from its employers. Last year alone, in 2021, about 35 million Americans quit their jobs. That's an amazing statistic. So we know, everybody knows, right, that there is an immense need for talent out there. However, you know, a successful career looks completely different than it did before. And navigating, you know, a meaningful career has shifted so much just in the last 2 years alone. So excited to really talk about that and having our panels just share their experiences and what they're going through. And then, so another thing too is as we think about like just growth and opportunities within the Accenture is heavily involved in the North American Apprenticeship Program. So this is another on-ramp onto an Accenture role that traditionally in the past would have required a bachelor's degree. So we are committed ourselves to fulfill 20% of our entry-level positions. So if you think about how big we are, so 20% of our entry-level position within 2022 is going to come from our apprenticeship network. So we're really excited about the diversity that's going to bring into our workforce, and you're going to hear more about that from our panel shortly. But we're really excited to be here. I'm really looking forward to a very thought-provoking and lively conversation. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to the AIB to introduce our panel members.
What's up, everyone? How are y'all doing? Clap it up for yourselves for coming out tonight. Thank you for everyone that's joining us online. My name is Andre Latil Watkins. I am the lead of public programs and community engagement here at the Arts and Industries Building, and
I'm Donnie English, the programs manager here at the Arts and Industries Building.
You. So, should I do the chant today or not? Should I leave them alone?
You gotta do the chant. They look a little dead. You gotta do the chant.
They gotta do the chant. Okay, yeah. So real quick. So we typically will lead a chant to kind of get y'all loosened up before we start our panels. So I want you to do me a favor. Put your hands out. All right, so you want to clap to the beat. Clap. Clap. Hey,
Turn it down a
here
little
goes.
bit.
Say, we rocks the party that rocks the party.
We rock the party. Okay. Let me put my paper down for this one. All right, everybody.
Oh, wait a second. Okay.
Y'all ready?
That's what we doing?
Hands out.
Clap.
Clap.
And clap. Do not embarrass me. You ready?
No one at home can see you, just us.
Clap. And clap. Clap. Say, we rocks the party that rocks the party.
We rocks the party that rocks the party.
Rocking the futures that we all dream.
Rocking the futures that we all dream.
Good job. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Some of y'all was a little offbeat. It's all good, though. It's all good. So check this out. So we have this amazing panel in which we are getting ready to talk about the future of your 9 to 5. What will our 9 to 5, our traditional work schedule, what will it look like in the year 2050, in the year 3000?
3005. That's my favorite.
3005.
Yeah.
So, what if you could design your own working life and your own path to success? What would it look like? Would you have one career or many? How would you structure your day? The routes to success and key job opportunities are expanding beyond your traditional 4-year college education. In fact, researchers are predicting that the future of work will be based primarily on the skills you learn and keep learning rather than on your formal degree. And so what does that future look like? We're going to find out today. We want to thank our sponsor, Accenture. Give it up for Accenture, y'all, who's made this program possible. We also want to thank
NBC Comcast for the live streaming that get our viewers to be here in person inside of Futures.
Absolutely. So check this out. In order to facilitate this panel, we don't do it like any just regular old panel, but you know me, we make it super fancy for you, okay? This is the Futures exhibition, so we do things in a very cutting-edge way. So, in order for this panel to be possible, we need for you to participate. So, instead of us simply hosting this with a moderator, we're going to have you actually leading the conversation, the flow of the conversation. So if you don't mind, I need you to take out your smartphone, take your phone out, because you're going to need to use that in order to participate in the convo.
We're going to do a little tester question just to see how you're flowing, okay? So you're going to see an interruption, and then our QR code is going to pop up.
All right, it's going to appear just like this, and that's going to indicate to you watching here in person as well as online that an interruption has taken place. This panel is called We Interrupt Your Regularly Scheduled Panel. So you're going to interrupt the panel. You are going to
scan that QR code, and if you are sitting in front, you will have some chairs. The QR codes are behind the chairs or on the front of the TV. Ooh. And once you got that code, answer our first question. How are you doing? How are you feeling? And then you'll see all of these questions.
Somebody said
on
hungry.
the screen.
Really?
I agree.
Rough?
Hungry.
I mean, I look cute. I don't look rough today. Spunky and a little warm.
I love blessed.
Drowsy. Somebody need to go take some medicine.
You should have did the chant.
Blessed. Someone said,
all right.
Meh.
So that's how it works. You guys interrupt our panel, and you guys got the conversation. And from that point, our panelists will then answer that question and continue the conversation.
So, to get started, let's go ahead and call our panelists up. Come on up, y'all. We got our
clap
experts.
It up for our
clap
panelists.
It up for our panelists, y'all. Clap it up, clap it up.
Make them feel warm and welcome.
Ooh, y'all look nice. Okay.
Everyone's so color coordinated with the blue. Oh, what? Look.
All right, so who do we have first?
All right, first we have Arzo Aryan. She's a graduate from George Mason University with a degree in Information Systems and Operational Management. She began her career in technology with an apprenticeship at Accenture in 2019 and has now worked for Accenture for 3 years as a secretary analyst.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So clap it up for Arzo, y'all. And then, I'm not biased in any way, but this is my homie. I got Allison Gary coming to the stage, y'all. Give it up for Allison Gary. Listen, Allison Gary is the founder and the voice behind Wardrobe Oxygen. Go to IG right now, Instagram, or on Facebook, Wardrobe Oxygen. And Wardrobe Oxygen is a site that offers real lifestyle for grown women. Started in 2005 as a hobby, Wardrobe Oxygen has been Allison's career since 2017, reaching over 500,000 individuals each month. Allison Gary and Wardrobe Oxygen have been featured on the Today Show, oh, the Washington Post, oh, Red Book, okay, and the New York Times, among many others. Give it up for Allison, y'all. Who else we got?
All right, next we have Malik Jarrett. Clap it up, DC. He is the CEO and founder of EAT, which is he's a Washington, D.C. native and entrepreneur. In 2016, Jarrett created Elevate All the Time with a vision that did not allow mediocrity. The flourishing business allowed Jarrett to establish EAT Cares, a nonprofit aimed to providing youth with job training, mentoring, educational, and entrepreneurial skills.
And I think, didn't you have like a collaboration with Adidas or Nike or some?
New Balance.
I'm just saying, you were a little humble inside your bio, homie. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Who do we have last?
You want to introduce?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Next, we have Jonathan Rochelle, aka JR. He's an entrepreneur and technology product manager. He's currently VP of Learning Content and Instructor Experience at LinkedIn. I use that all the time. Leading the development of learning products which help every member of the global workforce learn the skills they need to achieve their professional goals. He has created products used by more than 1 billion people every month, including Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Drive, classroom forms, fonts, Jamboards, and more. So basically everything you guys use on a daily basis, he created.
Give it up for JR, y'all. Last but not least, we have our moderator, Aman Kidwai. Give it up for Aman, y'all. Aman is a writer at Fortune, where he covers corporate leadership and the future of work. Ironically, how fitting for this panel. Aman started his career at Corporate Executive Board, or CEB, the Arlington, VA-based research company that is now part of Gartner, and he is going to be leading our amazing conversation. Give it up for Aman. Now, remember, you need your phone in order to participate. So we're getting ready to get this started. Remember, you are an important part of making this panel possible, so please participate. But we look forward to this conversation. Thanks, Aman.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys so much. Really excited for a conversation on a topic that I'm really passionate about, which is completely dismantling the 9-to-5, the boring office job, and what can be done about that. And so we've got a really tremendous panel here, excited to begin the discussion. To just start off, so we can get to know you guys a little bit better, how would you define your career? What is it that you do? We'll start with Arzo.
Hi everyone, my name is Arzo and I am a security analyst at Accenture. As you had said, I come from a corporate background, boring 9 to 5, but I do have a non-traditional way that I entered tech, which was through the apprenticeship, and that's how I define my career. I came from an apprenticeship and I'm a security analyst. Allison.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Allison Gary, and I would be called an influencer. I've been in it so long, I started off as a blogger, but the term has changed. I had a regular corporate America job and started blogging as a hobby, and at the end of 2017, I left corporate America to do this full time.
I'm Malik Jarrett. I would describe my career as a creator. Since I started my brand in 2016, I've used just ideas from my mind to shift my community, shift the culture in DC, and also, be able to help myself financially and business-wise. So, a creator, I just pull ideas from my mind.
Nice, very nice. JR, how about you?
I'm Jonathan Rochelle, and I create products, technical products. I worked at Google for a long time doing that, and that's kind of where I'll call it my start in tech, but I do come from a traditional corporate tech background. The traditional computer science degree into programmer, into manager. But in tech, I like to think of myself as the initiator of building products, and as a product manager, you usually build teams that build the products. You don't actually build them yourself, so. That's what I do as a product manager.
Excellent. Well, as we know, so much is changing as it relates to that pathway, and many great examples of how people have been able to really carve out interesting careers for themselves, like the 4 people right here. So maybe you guys could share just a little bit more. What are some of the defining experiences that you can think of that got you on this path? We'll start with Arzo.
So coming into tech, I think the decision for me to get into tech was just how the background I come from, the way I was raised, the values, and the opportunities that were available to me. So I really think that the opportunities that are presented to you is what will shape or your decision that will lead to your career. I think because I come from a family that really values education and being in a career field that you will be secure in and be able to support yourself, those were our core values, and that's what was a huge factor in choosing my career in tech. And I wouldn't have it any other way because it really did tap into some of the things I was really passionate about. And yeah,
Excellent.
Allison, you want to take it over?
Sure, happy to. I always loved fashion and I always loved writing. And back in middle school, I was like, I'm going to be an editor of a fashion magazine. And then I went to college and I majored in English Lit and got a job working in retail. And then got a job working a 9 to 5 that had nothing to do with any of it. I started blogging as a hobby, as a way to express myself and write the dream book I always wanted to write about fashion, and it came to fruition. It took, I mean, I'm in my 17th year blogging, but it took a while, but I took my dream and made it a career.
I would say I got on this career path just, by the grace of God, really, because graduating high school in DC, it wasn't that many, opportunities really, as far as like creatively. So just like many of my friends, we went to college, and even when I went to college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew I had to get away and experience new things. So I started in photography, and that took me to the lane I'm in now, which is fashion. Being a young kid, I always dressed well. My mom and my dad always dressed me very well. Shout out to my pops in the crowd. So it was kind of natural when it came to me. During the time before I started my business, 2015, 2016, I was just working 2 jobs. I had just graduated from Virginia State, and I wasn't really happy with what I was doing. So I just became really tired and said, yeah, this is something I'm gonna do, and then God just showed me the way, and it's just been well since I started.
That's awesome. I would say entrepreneurship was my trigger. I worked in a traditional job for many years, more than a dozen years, but always wanted to start my own business. And when I did finally do that, we created a product, and that product kind of brought out some other skills that I needed. To manage a product and a business was very different than being a programmer. And so I really discovered what I wanted to do with entrepreneurship, and that was to create products. And I was lucky enough to find a path to doing that with companies that have the funding to create products at scale that affect a lot of people. And that was the impact that was kind of the next trigger for me. I really love to have impact on as many people as possible with the products we create.
So great seeing people pursuing their passions, finding things they're interested in, trying to make it part of their work. And what's really striking about all of this is not a lot of it is really provided or apparent through your schooling. And so lots of people find their direction in other ways. So for you guys, I'm very interested to hear, how did you develop skills that you needed for the workplace outside of school? And I'll give you a break from answering first, and we'll start with Allison.
I left retail and apparel when I got married because I really wanted a more stable schedule. And at my job, it was an e-learning company. And I started learning a little bit about that, and it really intrigued me. And I had an opportunity where at my job that they wanted me to look busy until we got our government contract, which I think many people in DC can relate to.
Relatable.
And so I learned about blogging, and I started doing that. And I just loved the idea. And I mean, Google was my education. Anything I wanted to know, I Googled it, I found it. I found classes, I found online tutorials, YouTube videos, that whole thing, and everything, I found it that way.
Malik, how about you? You mentioned photography got you to
Yes.
fashion. Can you draw
It was,
that line for us?
my path is actually kind of similar. I just found something that I really, liked, and then I just figured out how to make it happen. So me being interested in it was basically a big help. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I was self-taught. I never knew anyone that had a business growing up. I never knew anyone that made clothes growing up. So it just came from starting and just getting my hands dirty and YouTube, Google a lot.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely a building, I'll call it, of confidence early in my career, enough to feel confident that when I did start my own business that I could figure it out. But I don't feel like I had the skills to do it. I feel like I just had the confidence. And then I went out and did it and learned everything on the job. Like it really was from day one, trying to run a company, every single thing I did every day was new and was a learning. I had no idea how to do it. I just had to solve problems. But I enjoyed solving problems. I enjoyed, in some ways I enjoyed selling. I liked to, talk to people about what solutions they needed. And I had the confidence and enough background. I probably built up more background than I needed during my years, I'll call it, in tech, but on Wall Street doing that. And then just learn things as I went.
Sometimes confidence can be good, no matter how misplaced or not it may be. Arzo, how about you? We know that you graduated college this year, but you've been working for a couple of years already. We're all very happy to hear that. That's exciting. Explain how that came about.
Yeah, so it's funny because the field that I'm in right now doesn't really use the degree that I have right now. So the skills that I built was actually from the apprenticeship that I went through in 2019. And that opportunity that Accenture gave me really helped me build up on those skill sets that I'm using today. And I think that was where I built a lot of my skills, apprenticeship.
Excellent. And so, just thinking about how we don't necessarily get everything we need. Uh-oh, we've got an interview. Sorry, an interruption occurring. So the QR screen will go up as you were instructed to before this session. The QR screen will go up, and then you'll have a choice between one of two questions that I'm going to ask this panel for the next question. The choices are: how do you imagine our work week will look in 25 years? And will advanced degrees be relevant in the future of work? And it's a tight race. Wow. Neck and neck here. Oh my gosh. This is a contested battle. Someone else vote real fast. It is literally tied. Okay. Yeah, we're good. We're gonna go with the first one here, which is, what do you think offices will look like in 25 years? I'm gonna start at the end with the person who made everything I use at work, JR, to maybe think about, to give an answer for that. What do you think our work week will look like? Let's say 20 years from now, just to make it a nice round number.
25 years is daunting. I think even my kids are probably thinking 25 years, they probably hope to be retired. But that's a long way out. I think we're starting to see the future now, which is way more flexibility. I think even today, if you say 9 to 5 to someone, some people might even say, what is that? I know one of my sons who's working full-time would say, no, it's 8 to 8. And that's not cool either, but it's really just, for me, flexibility. I think there's gonna be what do you need to achieve and how long can you achieve it in? And if we can become really efficient, we can achieve more, and we can do it not necessarily in normal hours and not necessarily in 8 hours, maybe less, maybe more. And I think the main thing is there to make sure that it's not so flexible that we lose collaboration with coworkers. I think that's one of the most important things, and hopefully that is something that we never lose.
Malik, I know for you, obviously, there's no 9 to 5 when you're running your own business, but what do you think about how you might be operating your company 2 decades from now?
2 decades from now, personally, I hope to, be kicking my feet up, but I can see myself, traveling across the country in half the time, or maybe even less than that than we are now, being able to, have a meeting in Los Angeles and go see a manufacturer in New York and still be able to rest my head in DC. That would be a perfect life, So I hope that technology will advance that much so I can see it and can live that life because I think it's very interesting. I could get so much done. And as he was saying, like things can become less virtual too. I like the interactions with people, so I feel like we can also meet up more and get more done in person.
Allison, you also have broken out of the 9 to 5, but what do you think work weeks will look like?
I really like what you said, Malik. I do think, especially when you are an entrepreneur, that there's so much time that is by yourself because travel is a limitation, and the ability to have like high speed travel, like the presentations that are here in the museum, just open up so many possibilities for manufacturing, for collaboration, for, just it's amazing future.
Yeah, I think we'll have a lot more remote work just from what we've seen so far, what happened with the pandemic. And also to add to JR's comment about the flexibility, remote work really provides that flexibility that workers are seeking right now. And it's also the start of this decentralization of people moving out of these big cities and to go into more rural areas, but they still get to perform their everyday jobs, right? Because of that opportunity of being more remote. And also saves you a bunch of time on commuting. I commuted like 2 hours just to get here. Now I'm only in Virginia, so that's a very plus one to being more remote in 25 years. Yeah.
To whatever extent we can eliminate commutes, that does sound like something we can all potentially get behind. And the work from anywhere is really truly incredible. I myself did about a week of work from Europe without really telling anyone. Don't tell my boss, but cannot recommend it enough and happy to discuss with anyone in more detail if they'd like. So guys, we were talking a little bit earlier about just, you know, we all have our passions. It can be sometimes hard to find a pathway to them from school. There are also maybe some companies that might have been able to find you, might have been able to hire you. Maybe a fashion brand could have found you. Maybe a lifestyle or clothing brand could have found you at some point. So, what do you think companies can do to expand their horizons for talent and allow kind of non-traditional candidates into job paths? And we'll start with Malik this time, just to
Right.
keep it,
So
keep it fun.
she spoke on the collaboration that my brand did with New Balance earlier, but that really just came because before the collaboration, I didn't know anyone at New Balance. I didn't know how to make a shoe, anything like that. They reached out to me because I admire how they took pride into knowing what's going on in DC because it's a big market for them. So they have people on the ground that's with their eyes open, their ears open, looking for what's next. And I think that's very, very important for any company just to know what's next. I mostly listen to the youth. You know what I'm saying? That's the future for me. So that's I think it's just important for every company to have those people who know on the ground.
Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, I think the key is to change the model of the way we hire, the way we find people, and to focus on skills. And the way today we filter still, although there are positive signals towards this trend I'm talking about, which is traditionally we looked at degrees. Where did you go to school? Did you go to school? And where did you work? And how long did you work there? And how did you describe that job? I think that's now changing to focus on skills. And that's what the research is saying. And at LinkedIn, for sure, we agree with that. And we've seen companies really making that shift and members of LinkedIn making that shift to say what skills have they acquired through their career? At what companies did they acquire them, on what projects? And then hiring companies, and right now 40% of companies are doing skill-based hiring, are saying, I want to know what skills you have. I don't want to look at what school you went to. I don't want to look at what jobs you had. I want to look at what skills you acquired at those jobs. So we think skill-based hiring is really key, and we see a growth of about 20% a year in that style of hiring. I think it's going to help a lot, because then it means from anywhere as well, once you know if the job can be done remotely. Some jobs can't, of course, but definitely when they can, the world of opportunity for candidates really opens up.
And Arzo, from your perspective, what does something like an apprenticeship program do to open doors for people who maybe don't have the full set of qualifications to become a cybersecurity analyst or something else?
Yeah, I think the apprenticeship program is definitely like the way to go if you're not going to go into the traditional four-year degree. And as employers are changing their hiring way of more being skills-based rather than degree-based, I definitely think the apprenticeship will prepare you for that. And I need more companies providing these non-traditional opportunities for these talent pools that are not your regular like elite universities, right? And they usually tap into those talent pools. But if you go into community colleges or people that are trying to change career fields from like retail or they're thinking into going into tech, I think apprenticeships is like the best way to create that change. And I need more companies to create those opportunities for more people. Yeah.
Allison, what do you think? Just as what can companies do to find that non-traditional talent that might be out there?
I really think it is a mix of what JR and Malik both said, in that seeing the potential beyond what is on the resume, you know, for where you went to school and how long you were at a job, but what you know and what you're willing to learn while on the job.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I think the education piece, it's such a huge barrier. I mean, jobs that require a bachelor's degree just to apply, if you think about that, only 40% of people even have that. So you're eliminating such a large, the vast majority of people just by putting that requirement up there. So, folks, with that in mind, if you had to create a pathway for people into any kind of job, let's say, that does not involve college, right? We are saying you're telling a 18-year-old that in 4 years I will get you a pathway to a job with no college coursework. If you could design something like that, what would it look like? And I'm going to start with JR again, just to, again, alleviate some pressure from people.
I would definitely put work at the front of that. I would make sure that that pathway starts with work. What do you want to achieve? Try to achieve something and start solving problems to achieve them, because in solving problems, you will learn skills. And if you could, again, show an interest and make sure you match someone to their interest area, that would be way better. Of course, I think that's also key, because then the interest is there to solve the problems, and it's a personal, reward, I think. But on-the-job training for me is really key early.
Arzo, how about you? You just wrapped up college. How would you completely remove it from your life and replace it?
Yeah, I think I didn't really even need college to get into where I am right now, because the apprenticeship gave me all the skills, gave me all the knowledge that I need to perform my job right now. And I started out the apprenticeship with colleagues that were in the same position. They were in their second year of community college or university, and by the end of their apprenticeship, they didn't want to go to university anymore, because they're like, I'm in the field, I have the skills, I'm building it, and they're secured. They don't really need the degree anymore. So not a 4-year route, but I can give you a 1 year to 6 months route to enter the tech field, or any field, honestly, that if you take advantage of these apprenticeships that are a year long, they can completely change and be a catalyst in your career in whatever field that you want to go into. Yeah.
Any college administrators in the building? Quaking in their boots right now. We got another interruption. QR code's going to go up, and we'll have a chance to pick the next question. So you guys get to decide what I'll ask these 4 wonderful people next while the great music plays. All right, guys, so our choices are: how can schools change to raise more entrepreneurs, which nobody seems to want to know anyway? What one career skill would you take with you into the future? That's a fun one. And it does look like that's the question we're going to go with. So, Allison, we'll start with you. If you could just take only one skill to equip yourself for the future, what would that be?
Let's say the best skill I saw in the past 2 years, and it's the ability to pivot quickly. Being comfortable with change and being comfortable with constantly learning and growing.
Malik, how about you?
Similar to Allison, one skill I would just take is my hustle.
JR?
I think the one college course actually that I took, it was bowling, and I think bowling would. No, I think I would have to pick collaboration as the key skill. Working with other people, it's very rare that you have the opportunity to do something that you can get done just yourself. It is a rare and awesome way to work, but it's really important to be able to work with other people.
Yeah, and my answer is kind of similar to Allison's, that adaptability, you really need adaptability in whatever career field that you're in. And kind of from my example, I entered cybersecurity with no technical background, no idea what corporate world was like. And I went in there and was able to adapt to their work life. And yeah, I think adaptability is the key skill that you can take from the future.
The skill to learn more skills. It might be cheating from both of you a little bit, like asking the genie for more wishes, but we'll accept it. Okay, so we talked about taking away the college career, the college from your career path. What about once you do get to work, the responsibility that employers have to make sure that they're continuing to train their employees for the future, and making sure that they're ready? JR, you've been in the tech world for a long time, and I'm sure witnessed a lot of changes, but how do companies prepare themselves for what their needs might be 5 or 10 years down the road when they might not even know?
I think the key is actually maybe stealing the skills. It's adaptability and making sure you have a program in place and the ability to scale that learning, and make sure you have programs for, I'll call it retention in a lot of ways, because you're trying to retain the employees. I mean, people that are running companies or managing teams have two problems related to people. One is hiring them, finding the right talent, and the second is making sure you've got the right skill balance and leveraging the people you've got that have all the knowledge about your company and your products, making sure it's easy for them to pivot and to learn new skills and be adaptable. That's a way better path than trying to say, basically, okay, these people won't work anymore because they don't have the right skills. Let's hire a whole new crew because the world changed around us. And I think COVID taught us that in a big way, because some jobs went away temporarily and other jobs popped up and really grew, and it was really hard to fill that gap. So I'll call it a learning model. You need a retention and a learning, a skills growth model.
Malik, how about you? Just within your company, what are you doing with your team to keep them upskilled for the future?
Right. So I actually formed my team early on. My friends just seen the needs that I had as far as like my business and my company. But since I started, everyone that has ever been on my team has been able to start their own business, and I feel like that's the most important part. Be able to build them up, because like you said, I don't know what I might need, but I would love to have some friends in a position that can help if when that day comes. So with my interns or with anyone that works with me, other than my brother, I keep him really close. I let them know, like, in 5 years, you shouldn't be working under me anymore. You should be doing your own thing. You should be learning from me to start your own brand and whatever that might be.
Very mature way to think about it. If only other managers felt the same way. Allison, what do you think about getting employees prepared for the future and how managers can do that for their teams?
I do feel as though what you were talking about, thinking about retention, and that constantly teaching people, constantly educating them, constantly knowing what's going on and preparing your staff so that nobody gets left behind.
Yeah, I have worked in some jobs where it's so confusing. It's like, why are you letting people leave when they know the company, they know it, and this empty seat is going to be so painful, but they let it happen anyway. Arzo, I know you are early in your career and maybe don't have a lot of opinions about maybe what employers must do, but what would you like to see in the future in terms of how your employer can help you stay up to speed in the future?
I think for them to keep me ahead in the future is they need to be looking ahead too, and looking out for their employees. And just like Allison and JR have been saying, create those opportunities to teach your employees and keep upskilling them, keep investing in them, rather than bringing on new employees. Just invest in the ones that you have and nurture those employees. Yes.
Excellent. All right. So, we had talked about, again, earlier, just some of developing some of our skills that we didn't necessarily learn in school, we developed on our own or, through our own pursuits. And I'm just curious, it can be so hard to say, I do this, I do it for fun, I've gotten pretty good. Um, so how do you prove it? How do you convince someone that you're good at something that your resume might not say anything about? I want to start with Allison.
Well, that's a hard one because in my job, people are always like, that's a real job?
Influence what?
I think every job needs to have some sort of metrics so that even if it's not the same position you're looking to do, you have some kind of metric to show your growth, your interest, your desire to learn more and to contribute more to the project or the company. And I know that metrics is what I need to do to prove myself, whether it's getting a brand campaign or writing at a publication.
Malik, how about you? How did you prove that you had fashion chops?
My formula has always just been doing the work. So I feel like if you're doing the work and you're doing it, properly, then everything will just come to you. My biggest tool or the biggest thing that's helped me in building my brand is just word of mouth. I didn't always have the best website or know how to advertise and market, but it was always people going out and telling other people like, do you know about this brand? And that's not because I'm asking them, but that's because I put out products and I represent something that people don't mind promoting. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would call it outcomes, right? I mean, you put out products, like that's it's something you can prove and you can show. It's some achievement or an outcome, and having a story around it where you can talk about what your participation in that was, I think is so key. So even though it might not be expressed well on your LinkedIn profile or your resume, to be able to talk about it and show your passion around, what you achieved, and sometimes what you didn't achieve, but what you learned in not achieving that sometimes is enough, where people really respect what you've gained in terms of experience in that space.
And Arzo, how about you? What made you a great candidate to be an apprentice for cybersecurity?
Um, so I think what really helps to prove yourself to others is not, you don't really have to say it yourself, but it's the people around you and the network that you have and the people that know you, and when they speak to other people and how they describe your work ethic, I think that's the best way to kind of prove your work or who you are. It's by being true to yourself with the people around you and your network, and then they go and tell others. I think that's.
All right, that's really great input. I think wow, we are about to have what I think is our final interruption of the show. So for the last time, scan the QR code and choose from one of the two questions that's up there. The first one is, if the future of work remained completely remote, how would you adjust? We already got some answers on that, but, and will jobs of the future feel like work? These are very tough ones. I don't know if there's an answer to some of it, but looks like we are closing in on a winner. A lot of close votes today. Very indecisive audience, but all right, we'll go with the first one. So, if the future of work remained completely remote, how would you adjust? I know we touched on this a little bit, but since the audience wants to hear more, tell us more about what a fully remote work would look like for you. How would you adjust? How will you change? Yeah, we'll start with you.
Okay, so what we've seen with the pandemic so far, going remote, it has definitely affected a lot of people and how they live their life, especially their mental health, and how it's very hard to draw a boundary between your life and your work life. So how I would adjust if it became completely remote was draw harder boundaries between your personal life and your work life, and being able to shut off your work brain from your regular family time, personal time. Harder boundaries between work and life, creating that work-life balance. Yes.
Allison, how about you? If the future is fully remote, how will you adjust?
Well, my job is fully remote.
Oh.
But one thing I did notice is during, the pandemic was the separation between personal life and work life. And it brought me to get an office space outside of my home so that I could more separate work and home. And that was really important for my mental health. And it also gave me a stop time at the end of the workday so that it wasn't working from 8 until 8. So I had a little bit more of control over my life.
Malik, well, I mean, what's your current remote work plan?
Yeah, I've been actually remote since I started my brand, and that's been a blessing because, and that's actually why I moved in 2020. I moved to Los Angeles so I can be able to work remotely, but also tap into the fashion industry even better. But I think that just the way I would adjust would the hardest adjustment would just be getting to the people. A big part of my brand is people seeing me and me being able to talk to the people. But other than that, I love being remote, and the struggle with the personal life and business hasn't really hit me. I just put it all together. So I am my brand. I'm always working. My brain is always working, and I don't mind.
Jared, I'm going to ask you a slight variation of the question. If things go fully remote, aren't we missing something, right? There's some value to people being in the office, chatting, learning from others, collaborating, sharing ideas, et cetera, et cetera. How do you recreate what's lost if a company goes fully remote?
Yeah, and that would definitely be my feeling. Is I think I would start an events business because everybody would be so hungry for in-person connection. But I really do think I would create opportunities for us to come together. And right before LinkedIn, I worked for a year for a fully remote company before COVID even started. And one of the most important aspects to, I think, making a remote company work is to make sure you do have some time to meet the team in person and to really connect with people. You can do it without it, but it accelerates it, by, tenfold. I'll say even with just one meeting. It's so important. And I joined LinkedIn fully remote, and I know how much I cherish the times that I can actually go to California, to headquarters, to meet the people I work with every day. And when you see them for the first time, it's almost an emotional experience because it's like, wow, I've been seeing you almost daily on the screen, and you're a real person. And so I would just create opportunity for that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, people still want to meet, and they'll have to find a way to do so. So, smart idea. I did want to ask one of the questions that actually almost won a vote, but I did think was really interesting, which is how do you think schools and colleges can encourage entrepreneurship more? I think this part is really important because I think, I will only speak for myself, I think we get coached away from risk the more you get educated. And so for that reason, it's almost like antithetical to the mission of what they're doing to encourage people to start their own thing. Anyway, Allison, how do you think colleges and schools can do a better job of creating entrepreneurs?
I think one of the things that people fear the most is the risk of being an entrepreneur. So, financial literacy, understanding how to manage your own finances, how to start a business, the financial aspect of that, and ways to protect yourself for the future, whether it's learning about healthcare options or retirement options, and that those things are possible. I think it's really important to know that.
Malik, how about you?
I think just like JR said earlier, I think schools should support those skills that kids are tapping into. I always tell my friends, I started in 2016. I could have started in 2008, 2009 if I just knew anything about a business class, or if I knew it was possible to start my own clothing brand, or if I had a camera already. I didn't get my first camera until my junior year of college. You know what I'm saying? So if I would have had those tools early, just exposed to those arts and the business side of things and entrepreneurship, then I think I would have been 10 years ahead. But I feel like now we can't cry over spoiled milk. We just have to acknowledge it and have some type of space for it. Right now, with my nonprofit, I'm doing a class with three kids, three ninth graders, and I'm teaching them entrepreneurship, and they all starting their own clothing lines. And we're meeting on Zoom and in person, 3 times a week. But I can only imagine, the impact I could make if I could go into the school and do it 3 times a week.
Amazing. Oh yeah, go ahead. Okay, JR,
I
now.
would really want to see a path where learning can be put in the context of starting and running a business. And I just don't think that path, it barely exists. There's one company I know, and I shouldn't call it a company, it's a philanthropic, it's a nonprofit company called Real World Scholars, RWS or EdCorps. And they've put, I would say, 50,000 students through programs by sponsoring teachers to help those students start businesses. And that's an incredible opportunity for these students. And these students now see, and again, I say put it in the context. You do math, you do writing, you do communication, you do all kinds of things that are really important in the real world, but you do it in the context of school so that it joins the two things in a really powerful way. And I just think that should be a normal part of school. That shouldn't be this, thing that hopefully you go to a school that, found real world scholars and you're lucky enough to find the teacher that is sponsoring that. I think it's super important. And I think there are too many students that could be amazing creators, entrepreneurs and people that could run businesses, but they don't know it and they struggle through school because they're just not passionate about what they're learning in, say, history. They don't know why they're learning it. So I think that's one of the most important things.
Arzo, what do you think? How can colleges just encourage more creative career pathways in general?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go back a little bit more to like middle school and high school, and I think they need this education system needs to communicate that it's okay, these kind of opportunities are available, like our entrepreneurships, kind of foster a more creative and different mindset on our youth. Um, and as colleges, what colleges can do is that they can have programs, like JR said, that can help their students build their own businesses. I came from the School of Business, and we would have projects where you would do like marketing reports on businesses that are already established. So why can't we do that on a student that already has an idea of a business, and we do a project around their business and how we can help them? So I think there's so many opportunities that these universities can take regarding that, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we've had a lovely time today. We're down to our final question. And it's a bit of a toss-up, I'll admit, but gives you guys an opportunity to end on a strong note. What makes you hopeful about the future of the labor force or the future of work? Malik, we will start with you because I saw you get nervous about this question.
Yeah, I did.
And so I'll just make you answer it ASAP. What makes you hopeful about the future for work?
What makes me hopeful about it is that although it might not benefit me and my business, but my community and my people, is that we're all starting to develop that sense of, okay, I have to do something for myself as well as, just work this job and everything. Like I said, all of my friends have businesses, small businesses that they're growing. And so that's what makes me hopeful for it. Like, more of my people, more of my community, we're starting to expand. So the next Malik can know a Malik, so it's easier for him to start his clothing brand.
Some JR, how about you?
I think my hope comes from what we saw happen during COVID. For sure, it was almost like a test of the system. And while we partly failed as a society, I think we mostly succeeded and we got through it, and it made people recognize, I think, the value of equity and opportunity, and for people to gain skills and not necessarily focus on, again, where they went to school or if they had the opportunity. And we talked about, whether you take the right course in high school or in college, the opposite happens to what should happen. In other words, if I fail a course in history, it's a punishment that then I can't move on to the school I want to go to or the opportunity that I want, and that shouldn't be. It should be that, okay, you didn't find what you needed in that, you should take something else. And I think people's eyes are opening up to that, and that, again, skills focus is where people are starting to move.
Arzo, how about you? What makes you hopeful?
I'm going to talk about the industry that I'm in right now, tech and the cybersecurity industry. And as you guys know, it's very male-dominated, white. And I'm really appreciative of how these companies are trying to push for more diversity in their workforce and their labor. And I'm a representative of that with their programs like the apprenticeship, and that really makes me hopeful that they realize this and they're putting their efforts into creating a more diverse workforce.
Don't disappoint Arzo companies, all right? Make your workforces more diverse in 10 years or faster. Allison, wrap us up here. What makes you hopeful about the future of work?
My daughter is 13 years old, and I remember when I was 13, I felt as though everyone asked me, what are you going to do when you grow up? And I didn't know, but I felt as though I had to have an answer, and I felt as though I had to have drive for a very specific position that young. And I see how kids her age are like, I don't know, like I'm just learning, I'm experiencing new things, and it's acceptable now. And I love the ability that people can dabble in different things. You don't have to be stuck at the same career for several decades, that you can find your place. And that's such a wonderful thing to see.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Thanks so much to the panelists for being here, and that's going to conclude our show today. Thank you all for being here.
Test. There we go. Yo, give it up for our panelists, y'all. Give it up for Amon as our moderator, for Arzo. Put your hand in the air, homie. There you go. For Allison. Yes, Malik. And JR, of course. We want to thank y'all so much for participating. We got one more thing for you, though, okay? Follow us at Smithsonian AIB, Smithsonian AIB. We have some more amazing programs coming up, including our closing. We're planning to close in July 6th, and we want to invite you to our closing party, okay? However, we want to jump into this next QR code real quick. We want to get your thoughts. So scan the QR code. Go ahead and scan that for me. Yes. All right. And let's go ahead and jump into that question. Describe your future 9 to 5 in one word. What do we have? Extinct. Oh my gosh. We have stress. Oh, stressful. Traveling, freedom, liberal, adventurous, fulfilling. Ooh, 24/7 entrepreneur. Okay. Paid, great, island bound, ongoing, creative, diverse. Listen, I want all of these things. I don't know if I want the stress, though. I will be honest. Everything else oh, okay, look. Y'all drop them in. Thank y'all so much for participating. We want to thank you again for being here with us. We want to thank Accenture. Clap it up for Accenture, our sponsor that made this program possible. We were able to bring these panelists on because of Accenture. We also want to thank NBC Comcast for sponsoring this live stream. For those of you all watching us online, make sure you follow us at Smithsonian AIB. We want to see y'all again soon. Thank y'all so much for joining us, and we hope y'all enjoy. Peace.